What's going on, guys? So today we're talking Foundation Episode 5 titled Upon Awaking. I know after last episode, all of us were expecting a lot of action in this one, and we got it, but we also got a lot of other stuff that we can talk about. So before we get into it, please make sure to like this video, and please make sure to subscribe if you're new here. We like keeping up with all new movies, TV shows, and all that great stuff. But let's get into Episode 5 of Foundation. So as the title says, this will be a recap and review. So this is going to be a quick recap, probably the quickest recap you guys will ever hear or see. Because I don't think there's too much to talk about this episode, but there is a couple of big things that we will hit. So it opens up with a flashback of Gaal, right? And she's on her water planet of Synax. I just want to say right away, this show blows me away with its visuals every single time, especially when it showcases the Synax planet, the water planet. It just looks so good. The cinematography is just amazing. Some of the best I've seen in any TV show. And yeah, just want to showcase with this planet and the water. It just looks so good. So I just want to say that. As you guys already know, this is a strictly religious world, so they ban all forms of knowledge. Scientists are immediately put to death. We see that as we see one character get thrown into the water, right? And that's just, I think, reiterating to us that scientists get put to death, right? There wasn't anything too important there, I don't think. And then we see Gaal, and she gets invited by Harry Seldon to help solve the Abarax equation, right? From the beginning of the episode. This was just a flashback, I guess, to show how she got invited. So I didn't think anything was too important here, but as we see, she wakes up in the ship, as we saw at the end of the last episode. She's floating through space. We haven't seen her really since she killed Harry Seldon. We're still looking for answers for all that. So, I mean, this was a weird beginning, I think, because, or not weird, it was just last episode, like I said, I was expecting action. I thought it was going to start out right where we left off, episode 4. As you see, it has more of a slower start as we focus on Gaal. I have been wanting to see more of Gaal. But the show felt a little bit slow in the beginning, but thankfully it does pick up by the end. So she wakes up in the ship, right? We're now in present time. She learns from this computer that she's been asleep for over 34 years, which now makes sense of why she's still the same age, and she's in present time now. So immediately she looks up the details on Harry Seldon's death. The computer says that the murder happened by her and Rach, who we already knew that, but it doesn't tell her where the ship is headed. So then we cut to Terminus, where we see the Anacreans continue building the fortifications around the town, and they're still building the cannon. They still have pointed to it, and we're just waiting for them to attack, right? This is where I got excited. I was like, okay, we're back on Terminus. This is what I wanted to see. Finally, we get to see some action, right? So they start shooting, and then the town is force field, and I was like, oh my god, all right. So they're shooting up the force, so I'm like, we still have to wait for all this action. So there's a couple of scenes here that I didn't think were too important. A couple of action stuff does start to happen, and then they break through the force field, right? They start attacking the town. Some good action, not anything crazy, or anything so engaging. It was just like, okay, there's some good action now, but it didn't really blow me away, the action scenes. And then we see the Empire ship start to arrive from Trantor. As you remember, this is the ship that was sent by Brother Dusk in episode 4. They force a ceasefire from the Anacreans and the Foundation, but the Anacreans don't really listen to the ceasefire, and they point the cannon at the ship, and they explode it. So now we see that the Foundation is now at the mercy of the Anacreans, and nobody's coming to help them. As we cut back to Gaal, who's still trying to work out where the ship is headed, where's the destination. She goes in the spacewalk trying to figure out, she kind of like figures out what the destination is, and then she goes in like an astronaut suit or whatever and tries to look out. She can't see it, but it's supposed to be right there. I was reminded of that Star Wars scene from Attack of Clones, if you remember that.
It ought to be here, but it isn't.
But eventually she figures out that they're heading towards a planet that's near a dead star. She figures out this planet is Harry Seldon's home planet. So she doesn't want to go there because they think that she was the one that killed him. So she wants the ship to change course, but obviously the ship doesn't listen to her because she doesn't have the proper authorization, right? And so she then notices blood, but then the blood sort of disappears in this like holographic way. And then she notices a corpse, and it's revealed the corpse is Harry Seldon. And this holographic image, as we see, starts to move and it goes in and out. And then she's like is surprised, and that's how the episode ends, right? So this is obviously not Harry Seldon that we saw, right? Harry Seldon's dead. This is 34 years after he's the same age, so this can't be the Harry Seldon that we know. Right? So I'm thinking this obviously is some sort of sentient holographic being. Harry Seldon probably uploaded his consciousness into this digital thing so he can live on. As we know, Harry Seldon could see the future. He probably foresaw his death and decided to take some measures so that he could live on through something else. So that's what I think it is. Let me know what your guys' theories are, but I think that's pretty solid, that theory that this isn't, obviously it's not the real Harry Seldon, right? It's some holographic thing. He probably uploads consciousness, right? I think we can all agree on that. But the real question is who's controlling this ship? Another theory is that it is Harry Seldon. which is what I probably think it is. It's probably Harry Seldon's consciousness is the one that's, controlling the ship and making us go to this planet. Or it could be Rach, even though Rach is dead, as we saw right in this episode. After he gets caught, they execute him by like putting him out into space, right? But as we saw, the knife that Rach gives Gaal at the end of the last episode, or in episode 2, whenever that was, that knife is what's able to unlock the ship. So Rach obviously has some part to play into this. I'm guessing it's going to be revealed that Rach was the one who maybe uploaded the consciousness of Harry Seldon into the ship. He probably played some role, but I don't think he's the one controlling the ship. I do think it's Harry Seldon's consciousness. But so I'm going to give you guys my rating for the episode right now. I'm going to give it a 3.7 out of 5. I see that a lot of people like this episode. I think this was a turning point for a lot of people. I mean, they wanted a lot of action. We got that. A lot more questions, like cooler mysteries are being unraveled or asked. So I thought it was really solid. I mean, I just thought it was good, but I'm still waiting for like something amazing.
Well, what are you waiting for?
I don't know. Something amazing, I guess.
I feel like I can like see the potential of this show and what it could be. And because it's not hitting those marks for me, I sort of get disappointed. I compared it sort of to like Game of Thrones in space early on because the whole politics talk and everything. But I don't think I should do that anymore. Game of Thrones is obviously on a different level, one of the best shows of all time. And it's just hard for them to reach that. And I think it's unfair to expect that from this show. So I'm going to stop doing that. I kept thinking I want something like Game of Thrones, like just to feel that Game of Thrones feeling again. I don't know if you guys have seen the show, you know what I'm talking about. That I haven't really gotten from a show yet since that. But yeah, that's probably just my disappointment of season 8 just coming into fruition. So I'm going to look at Foundation for what it is. It's like this thought-provoking thing. I just didn't like how this episode just felt like we're watching Gaal talk to a computer for the whole episode, right? If I did a full-on real recap, I think a lot of it would be filled with Gaal talking to the computer about stuff that I didn't really think was too important. She looks into the murder. I said that. She keeps asking the questions. She doesn't have authorization. It says that Rach is the only one that can unlock the security protocols. Just a lot of, interesting stuff, but nothing crazy. The Anacreons and the Empire and them firing on it. It wasn't the big battle that I hoped it'd be. Obviously, the Foundation isn't as doesn't have as many weapons as the Anacreons did, so it wasn't going to be a fair fight anyway. But, I think I'm just mad that I see the potential of this show and it's just not reaching that, especially with the cinematography and the way it looks. I think it just could be much better than what it is. But I will say it is getting better. We are asking more questions. The whole Harry Seldon uploading his conscious thing is really interesting. Reminds me of if you guys played Star Wars Battlefront 2 with Darth Sidious, that whole story that went on, right? He uploaded his consciousness. That's what makes me remind of. But let me know what you guys thought of this episode. Did you like it more than I did? I mean, 3.7 sort of meanders. I think the first episode was better than the third. But then it's better than 2 and 4. That's where I have it ranked right now. So I think it was solid, but yeah. But yeah, so let me know what you guys thought. And if you enjoyed this, please make sure to like this video. And please make sure to subscribe for new. And like always, have a great rest of the day. And I will see you all in the next video.